morning Alp.
Welcome to day 3 of making Alp great again. Bit of rainy Southland. The wind has picked up today, but it stopped raining later in the morning, which is great.
Let's have a look in the Alp shed. It's filling up. It has only begun.
So someone asked me, how many Ks has the bike done? Miles actually, but can't tell you in miles. In kilometers, it has done about 150,000, which some hard work done by this engine. And like I said before, the rear cylinder doesn't hold compression anymore, so we're going to have a good look inside. And someone else mentioned that I have a lot of love for this bike, it seems. That's true. We've been basically together for almost 3 years, and there have been some great times where we're just blasting along wherever, and it just feels absolutely amazing. And the bike is there during those highs, and during the lows, it we go hand in hand. So, you know, when she suffers, usually I suffer, and vice versa. You definitely bond with a bike.
Been taking plenty pictures. I hope enough, but it should be better than nothing. Especially to get these wires back in place afterwards. This one fell out in Mongolia. Dropped the whole stand. There's another one. Oh yeah, it didn't drop the whole stand, but it made it twist. That's good, but there's another one in here I didn't know. Side stand. So I was talking about center stand earlier, I meant side stand. That's all I need. Center stand, the bike sits pretty low, not enough clearance. It would have completely been ripped to shreds, the places I've been. First liquid, rear caliper. Normally I have a nice little bleeding hose to remove the brake fluid, but now I don't. But we're in a situation where we can get nice and messy, and it doesn't matter. There we go. Handy, is it? There we go. So I have issues with the rear caliper. It started up north in South Island, which I noticed then, near Takaka. And that's it, especially when I'm going downhill and using my rear brake a lot. I just lose pressure when it all heats up. And surprisingly, it comes back after a while when it cools down. The caliper needs to be rebuilt, new rubbers and all that. This kind of sucks. It's still the original Honda rear brake hose. I had to replace the front one in Holland because some delinquent kids, those rascals from a student flat next door, they cut the wire. They cut my front brake line for shits and giggles. And as I left the place in the morning, going around the bend on the parking lot, I tried to brake, nothing. Messed up. And the flat next to us, they put in there a year before. These delinquent, hard to raise kids, and they started hanging around the place and smashing shit up, and local council never did anything about it. One of those beautiful European initiatives of solidarity, and it's the local people that have to bear the consequences. I remember in Japan with my friend Yoshi, Japanese fellow who rode around the world on his Africa Twin in the 90s and still some in the 2000s. Absolutely fantastic guy. Stayed for a week with him near Nagano. We spent 1 hour tweaking this little weak spring that activates the brake light, the rear brake light. And just to get it right, spend an hour on that. That was fun. Look at this contraption here. Okay, the bike is not in an ideal position to remove the coolant. Should have done that before. So I'm going to put the brake hose cover here. See how it goes. What will happen if I remove this? That's it. Beautiful. Beautiful. This will work. I need to figure out again how to remove the choke from the carburetor. Funny plastic situation. I've done it before, but I can't remember. It did just state what I was already trying to do. Unscrew the nut, but it's a funny looking nut. Can't really get the spanner around it.
It looks straightforward, doesn't it? But I can't really get it around there properly. So I'll see what I'll try even harder, I guess.
All right, this whole choke thing, I think I remember it was an issue back then too. And Hero warned me about it. Because I was riding with a Belgian guy and a Japanese guy. And Hero was a mechanic at Red Baron, you know, the big motorcycle chain, a mechanic shop in Japan. He helped me out cleaning the carburetor for the first time, which back then seemed like a daunting task. Still, quite an extensive task. I think he warned me about, Pedro, gentle, not very good, complicated, design not very good. And now Hero, he's been riding halfway around the world and then some last year and a half. And he's been in Africa the last year. And today I saw that he's going to finish up Africa and go to Australia again. A combination of pushing and then getting the wrench in there a bit and pushing again. A last. Kaliman. Love the smell of petrol. Honk honk. The vendor. Go. There we go. Kill. Bit of a soak. Got almost halfway to ruining them, but they came off. So this mirror, I'm gonna need a new piece. That section, because this has been, what is that, JB Well or some liquid epoxy used to put the mirror in place. There we go. Hey, nice. So when I fried my battery in Western Australia and blew my ECU because the regulator gave out after 105,000 Ks of dutiful service, I got one of these for eBay. It's a British company. I think people might be familiar with this this thing. Anyway, it's basically a LED indicator for your battery. 14 and a half, healthy, anything towards, what is it, 13 something, unhealthy. Blinking when there's over voltage and blinking when there's, or the battery's not charging. There we go.
Or probably just coming off, pushing them.
Oh yeah, okay. That's simple.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it?
Yeah.
It's all good? Sweet. Yep. That's a lot of force.
What we got here? You got another. That's the reason.
Okay. Double one.
You're doing the wrong
one. New chain?
Yeah. Have you removed this one before?
Never.
Never.
You know the answer to that question usually, Clark?
Yeah.
Yep.
seems to be no going anywhere.
A bit of troublesome news after some troublesome anticipation. So trying to remove the swing arm, can't pull out the bowl because there's too much pressure on the swing arm because the frame is bent in more places than just the top rear end that we found yesterday.
This bracket here, this engine bracket, is bent, and the bolt comes out this way. And it's a long bolt. There's no space to pull it out.
So let's see how we go from there. This steering is completely bent. I didn't know it was that bad. Wow.
Yep. Sweet. Raggedy old Transalp forks. So we're good, eh?
Oh yeah, perfectly.
At the moment it looks like the frame is in really bad shape. It's keeping us from removing the engine. So it's now worth it to have a look if we can get a frame in New Zealand, which is definitely not the best place to get a Transalp frame, but we're going to have a shot at it.